Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home from Rome. But that's later on. Let's start off about Manchester United. Lots to talk about this morning. Some big updates around Varane, around Camavinga, around Anthony Martial, around David De Gea, around Paul Pogba. Lots and lots to discuss. Also, we've got something very exciting to show you in relation to Jadon Sancho, which I can show you on the screen now. Links in the video description. There you go. New t-shirt out. Link in the video description. You can get that. I'll show you that a little bit later, but the link's in the video description. So let's get straight into the show. As I want to talk about Rafael Varane first of all. Let's start off talking about Rafael Varane then. This is the latest update from Fabrizio Romano on Varane. Manchester United have now contacted Real Madrid and the player wants to leave. Contract renewal is difficult for Real Madrid to explain him to do. So Varane wants to leave as things stand, and Manchester United have made contact with Real Madrid. Personal terms will not be a problem for United. Varane's desire is to try something new. I think that's very interesting. You almost get echoes of the Jadon Sancho deal. Remember, Romano always used to say personal terms will not be a problem. Sancho loves Manchester United. Manchester United loves Jadon Sancho. Well, hopefully we can substitute that with Rafael Varane would love a move to Manchester United. Manchester United loves Rafael Varane. I think Manchester United loves Rafael Varane. I don't know whether Rafael Varane loves Manchester United yet, but certainly the personal terms will not be an issue. As we said, he's on about 200 grand a week, so we can definitely knock that up to about 275. Real waiting for his official decision, but his desire is to try something new. So I think where we are with Rafael Varane at the moment, and look, people will instantly say, what percentage are you on Varane? Because you were 90% with Sancho and it was back and forth, back and forth. I'm a little bit Matthew Gartell, one of our members. I can see he's got a badge there. I'm a little bit like Matthew Gartell, who says, is this another Sergio Ramos situation? And that's what worries me. I cannot go beyond 50-50 on this. I'm 50% he'll come to United, 50% he'll stay at Madrid. I don't think there's another option for him at the moment, which is surprising. I'm surprised nobody else has jumped into the market. Maybe they still will. There's still a lot of talk from Italy, from Spain, from Spanish outlets around Madrid that this deal will be done in the next 2 weeks, one way or another, which I think is fantastic because the Varane deal is clearly a deal we've been working on for a number of weeks, that it's been kept quiet, probably because of the Sancho deal. Because really, Varane has only really kicked off since the Sancho deal's been done. So it's almost been hiding this Varane deal, which we've clearly been working on. And if we can resolve it in the next 2 weeks, happy days. Now, I still just feel that, even when you look at what Romano is saying there, that Varane wants a new, there's talks between Manchester United and Madrid, which is a big tick. I don't think there were before. That Varane wants to leave. He wants a new challenge, but there's no official decision that he's told Real Madrid he wants to leave yet. And there is the all-encompassing thing where I think you can jump to the left, jump to the right, crisscross. You can. He wants to go. He wants a new challenge. Personal terms are not a problem. United are talking to Madrid. If it was just that, I'd be like, this is going to happen. But it's that fifth point. He's not officially told Madrid he wants to leave yet. And there is this fear that Ancelotti's going to sit him down and, sell the project. And Ancelotti does want to do that. So if you didn't have that, and to be fair, anybody of any credibility around Madrid or around the world is saying that he's not officially told Madrid he wants to leave yet. Madrid's stance is, if he wants to stay, he can stay. There is a contract offer. If he wants to go, they'll sell him because they need the money and he's only got a year left on his contract. So Madrid actually are acting unlike Madrid. They're being quite mature about it. They're like, look, he's got a year left on his deal. We'd like him to stay. We're not offering him silly money. If he doesn't want to stay, we want 40 to 50 million quid. United are like, well, yeah, we'll pay 40 to 50 million quid. We'll give you the money that you want. So it's Varane. It's Varane. And it's Ramos 6 years ago. It's Varane. If Varane could just go, you know what? I'm going to stay in Madrid. I don't fancy United. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Mark, please stay online longer. I like your company, says Nitten. Well, I do just need to give a quick shout out, actually. I got this message. Let me just read it out. I don't know. I can't read the message out. Wait a minute. Sorry to... Yeah, I have a message to read. All right, Oliver. Shout out to Oliver, who is going to be 21. Massive fan of the channel. Says, you're a big inspiration to me and I look up to you also. Thanks for what you're doing. Okay. Happy birthday to Oliver, who's 21. Massive fan of the channel. And, thanks very much for that, Oliver, there. Sorry, I was reading through all of it. I was like, shit, I can't remember what his bloody name is. Oliver. Oliver. Happy birthday to Oliver. 21 today. I don't know whether it's 21 today, but happy birthday to Oliver. If we can give him a bit of support and chat, happy birthdays in the chat, that would be great. Thank you very much. So let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about. Camavinga, obviously. We're going to be talking about Anthony Martial as well. There's an update on him from Andy Mitten, which is good. Also, we're going to be talking about a few other things as well, but let's talk about Camavinga. Now, Camavinga, Mark, we should offer Madrid 60 million and Varane 300k a week to get the deal done. Ashik, I'm glad you're not our negotiator. We should not offer. What are you talking about? Give him 300k a week and 60 million. I mean, look, I'm not a bank manager and I'm not the Glazers, but I could do a better deal than that. I'm not up for just chucking money in the air. Like, we'll get him for less than 300k a week and we'll get him for less than 60 million quid. I think we can get him for 45 and 275. So I've just saved the club 15 million and 25 grand a week compared to Ashik. There is a bit of negotiating to go on there, but the most important thing on this deal, don't be worrying about the price. Don't be Jesse J. Don't worry about the price tag, and don't worry about the wages. I don't think any of that actually really matters. What matters here is that Varane tells them that he wants to leave, and if he does that, then that will be absolutely fantastic. Jadon Sancho, can I just say, I've done a video on this on That's Football. You can watch it all about there. But Jadon Sancho is in line to start today for England, and this is coming from David Ornstein and a few other outlets as well. Jadon Sancho is likely to start today for England, which would be absolutely fantastic. Of course, we've got the watch along to come for you this evening on That's Football and the crowd fan park in the top left hand corner. Make sure you tune into That's Football for that tonight. But Jadon Sancho apparently going to start tonight for England in the quarter-final of the Euros, which is absolutely fantastic. Which reminds me, just before we talk about Camavinga, Martial, big updates around those, let me just show you this. Link in the video description. We've got a new t-shirt as part of the range, as you can see there. Let me see if we can show you a little bit more of a close-up there. And it's available in some fantastic colours as well. I do like the black one. Why won't it show me the black one? The black one looks absolutely brilliant. Look at that. That is looking pretty cool, the black one. Also, I've shown you the red one. What else can I show you? Nice. That's a nice colour as well. I actually quite like that one. So yeah, links in the video description for that. Our new t-shirt range for our new signing. Thank you very much, everybody. Looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? Thanks to our designers for that as well. Love it. Absolutely love it. Link in the video description. And apparently Jadon Sancho will start today, which is absolutely fantastic for England. Can't wait for that. So let's move on. Alex says, hi Mark. What's he saying? What's Alex saying? Hi Mark, sorry I know it's not transfer related, but what do you think about the new standing section at Old Trafford? I think anything that adds to the atmosphere at Manchester United is a good thing, and obviously the most important thing is safety. So yeah, I'm all for it. Mark, when I first discovered you, I thought you were a prat, but I love you now. Keep up the great work, says Dash. Yeah, people spread out bullshit and lies, mate. I always think there's some very famous people in this world who, in this football world, who listen to people about opinions about other people without even meeting them. You probably know who I'm talking about. Sadly, there are people in this world who make their minds up on people when they've never even met them. And thank you for actually not being that person. Happy birthday, Oliver, but I'm crying because of Michael Oliver. Can we make a petition to remove him from the Premier League, says DK, who is Swiss? Yes, you were robbed. You were robbed. Absolutely robbed. I do agree with you on that one. Anyway, let's talk about Camavinga very quickly. Let's have a look. Hi, Mark. If we sign Varane, could that persuade Pogba to stay, in your opinion? Well, there is a story coming out this morning. I mean, it's Manchester Evening News. They're saying that Manchester United are working very hard to work on a deal to get Paul Pogba to sign a new long-term contract. There is optimism around Paul Pogba staying at Manchester United, and I think the signings of Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane are going to be very big for Paul Pogba, and I think he might sign a new contract. My concern is what Samuel Lucker said yesterday, that if Pogba signs a new contract, it's a hollow contract. And that I've not heard that before. And what that basically means is that he'll be signing the contract for the money, but he won't really be committing his long-term future. He'll still be looking for ways to leave next summer or the summer after that. Well, do you want that? Because I think I and many other people have always thought, look, if Pogba signs the contract, he's staying at United till he retires. But actually at 28, you sign the contract, you get better wages, and then in a year or two, you push for a move at 30, So maybe that's the plan from Pogba and Raiola. At the moment, the money's not on the table for what they want, so they wait. But I still think if he really was a mercenary, which I don't think he is, and he really was about money, which Raiola is, then the most obvious thing is don't sign a contract. Just let it run down, because the most obvious thing for Pogba is this. Are Manchester 5 years at United? Have United ever shown that they're a Premier League winning side? No. Could this be the summer that they are? Maybe. Would I sign a new contract based on that? No. What I would do is I'd say to United, look, I'm happy to stay at this club, but I don't trust you. I don't trust that you're actually going to build a team to win a Premier League title. I'm impressed with the Varane signing. I'm impressed with the Sancho signing, if the Varane signing happens. I'm not signing a new contract. Put your offer on the table. Keep it on the table for a year, and maybe next summer I might sign it. But ultimately, I want to see the proof in the pudding, really. Because if I commit and then it doesn't work, I'm stuck. And what that means for Pogba is that next summer, he's got the offer from United. He sees what United have done over the last year and what they're going to do next summer. Are they going to sign Haaland, etc.? Because they'll probably be saying to Pogba, we've got Varane and Sancho. Next summer we're going to get Haaland. We want you to be part of it. But do they do that? Do they get Haaland? You don't know. So if I was Paul Pogba, and I know as a United fan this sounds weird, if I was Paul Pogba, I'd run my contract down. I'd wait till next summer, and then I would see what was on table, because you're going to have United's offer on the table. You're going to get an offer from Madrid, PSG, Juventus. Football changes a lot in a year. I think Pogba's best option is to run his contract down, and I can see that as just as a human being. I've always thought that, so I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. Hi Mark, keep up the good work from Cameroon, Africa, says Bertil. Thank you very much, pal. Thanks for the super chat. Would you do a Bentancur Pogba swap? Ronaldo swap would be great, but don't think we need him, says Sakin. I mean, I don't know. Bentancur's not really the level of Paul Pogba. Varane's nickname equals Rafi. Camavinga's equals Cami. Says 1717. Well, let's talk about Camavinga for a moment. French outlet Quest France is saying that Manchester United are one of the clubs interested in Eduardo Camavinga. Contacts have taken place between the club and the player's entourage over a potential summer transfer, which we know. We got that confirmed last Sunday, didn't we? This is interesting, though. Camavinga's entourage is asking for a salary of around £500,000 a month, which the club has categorically refused. I mean, £500,000 a month for an 18-year-old playing for Rennes in France. I mean, he's got a fantastic future, but 400k a week, forget about it. They seem favourable to a move away from Rennes this summer, and even though he's represented by English agency Stella, his father weighs heavily in the decision of the young player. Even if he is now, nothing would prevent the departure of Camavinga from Rennes this summer, and that's coming from Quest France. And also RMC Sport in France are saying that Pogba at this stage has not had any contact from PSG. So that's where we're at in relation to those updates at the moment. And I think it's very interesting actually how the midfield for me is still a massive part for Manchester United, and I think it's a massive part for everybody. I think that, let's get Varane in, let's get Varane in, we've already got Sancho in. I do really want those deals to happen, but also I'm like, well, you know what's going to happen in that midfield? I mean, I'd like to see Paul Pogba coming into the midfield. I think we all would, but I'd also like to see a CDM coming into midfield. I think it's really important. Varane could be the signing that propels us, allowing us to play a higher line and do a far more solid back four, freeing space in midfield for a more attack-minded midfield, more creativity next season, says George Harrison. I agree with you about that, George, but I disagree as well. Mark would be better, Camavinga or Renato Sanchez. Camavinga's more defensive, Mojo. $500,000 per month is around 120k per week. No, it's not. What are you on about? $500,000 a month is about 120k a week. What are you talking about? You need Ishanu. You need to go back and do your maths. €500,000 is about 125 quid a week. It's not. I'll tell you exactly how much 500,000 euros in pounds are. 500,000 euros in pounds is 429,000 pounds a week. I think we're going to keep Delo and not sign Trippier. If the reported price is true, I can see him getting priced out of a move. There we go. Why are people saying it is? 500k. Oh, did I say a month? Oh, a month. I don't know whether it was a month. So I apologise. Apologies to Ishanu. I've read it as 500k a week. Mark, Everton are buying Ben White, so we have 50 million plus 30 from Xhaka also, so we will vote 80 for Varane. Piss off, Zane. Oh, I don't need you this morning. I think I might have misread that one then, so let me just double check on that. I don't like to get things wrong. Let's have a quick look. Anthony Martial apparently not leaving Manchester United. I need to talk to you about that. Yes, definitely. So, where was it? Yeah, it was €500, 500 grand a month, which the club has categorically refused given his age and performance last season. Well, 125 quid, 100. Okay, take a deep breath. €500,000 a month, not a week. If it was a week, it would be £400,000 a week, right? If he wants £500,000 a month, that is really... In fact, Ishantu is wrong. £500,000 in euros a month is about £105,000, not 125. So actually, Ishantu is wrong, and I was very, very wrong. Ishantu, you're wrong. I'm wrong. 105k a week is what Eduardo Camavinga would want. Now, considering that's what we pay Jesse Lingard and not far off Phil Jones, his wage demands are probably not that wrong for an 18-year-old who is considered to be one of the best players in the world at that age group. So yeah. I think that would be correct. I don't know why the focus has gone. It's absolutely fine at my end. It's probably a streaming issue. Just released from lockup. Good to see you, mate, says Dog. And why is it that one of the new places of kit looks like it should be worn by City, says Red Devil Stang. And Mark, I would love to sign a CDM, but I think McFred would still start. I don't see how McFred would start 80% of our games to nothing but next season, says Thomas T. Well, you know, that's something that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is definitely going to get questioned about, isn't it? I think Ollie will be questioned about that next season. Are you going to stick with McFred? You know, will Paul... I mean, the reason we want Paul Pogba to stay is because if Paul Pogba stays, then we won't... You know, we probably have to play Paul Pogba in the midfield. Although, if Martial is injured, then he'll probably put Pogba on the left wing again, won't he? So it'll be interesting to see how that develops out. But... I want to talk about the goalkeeping situation, but I just want to bring this in as well. I think it was spoken about by Beth and Levin last night that Edison Cavani is expected to only play 60% of the games next season. And that was from Andy Mitten, who obviously is a journalist who's on the press conferences and quite close to United. He's saying that Manchester United expect Cavani to only play 60% of games next season and that they're in no rush to sell Anthony Martial. Well, this fits in with a lot of what I've said, and I'm interested to see what you're going to say about this, because I think it's absolutely spot on both points. Cavani to play 60% of our games next season, I think, would be about right. I mean, look at last season, look at his injury record over the last 2 years. There is no way. 1717 says that home kit will be out on the 15th of July. Write it down, I'm telling you. Yeah, probably come out with the signing of Jadon Sancho. I like the signing of Tom Heaton, but way too many keepers now. Now my trouble, says Tom J. We'll talk about the keepers in a minute. Let me just finish about this. So yeah, I think Cavani probably will only play 60% of our games when you look at his injury record over the last 2 years. And the fact that United are in no rush to sell Anthony Martial, pretty much what fits in with what I've been saying for the last 6 months. I think there's a lot of United fans that would sell Martial, and I think it's a disrespect to Anthony Martial from our fans, but ultimately that's up to you what you think. It's all about opinion at the end of the day, isn't it? But I think a lot of United fans have basically sold, sealed and delivered Anthony Martial to somewhere already, and they're spending the money. Manchester United do not want to sell Anthony Martial. Like, Ollie really likes him, the club really like him. Mourinho tried to do it and it was met with a very firm no. If Anthony Martial decides he wants to go himself, he can go. But there is a feeling that Martial, is very determined to prove his worth to United, and he will definitely get opportunities next year. I don't think Marcus Rashford's going to be fit to start the season off the left-hand side. That's an opportunity for Martial. I don't think Cavani's going to be able to play, much more than 60% of our games, like Andy Mitten said. That's an opportunity for Martial. So there's plenty of opportunity there. Mark, what is the Nuno Mendes news MUFC MPB's put up? And Mark, would you take James Tavernier from Rangers, says Wayne Finnegan? No, not really. It's not a deal that excites me. I mean, I'd take Trippier over him for definite. Nuno Mendes, I don't really know what the story is with Nuno Mendes. We keep getting linked to him. And I don't know why, because we don't need a player like that. I just feel that is Portuguese outlets linking Manchester United to a player again. And just because we bought Bruno, I think people start to believe Portuguese outlets, but just remember the amount of players we've been linked to from Portuguese outlets over the years. It's very hard to sort of read that. The goalkeeping situation I do want to talk about very quickly. This is coming from the Telegraph. James Ducker saying that Dean Henderson believes he's done enough to keep the number one spot at United next season, and that while David De Gea was chosen to play in the final, he believes that Solskjaer will stand by him and is not thought to be interested in moving away. But David De Gea, according to Hurst Class, is no plans to move Manchester United. He's determined to stay at United despite facing even more competition for his place following the signing of Tom Heaton. Look, I feel that we've already sort of, passed the point of no return on this, which is a real shame. The media in this country have generated this David De Gea versus Dean Henderson thing, which is actually quite toxic in our fan base. And I have to be careful now because I do like Dean Henderson as a goalkeeper. But David De Gea should be the number one. And I think it shows a massive amount of inexperience from Solskjaer and his coaches to think that chucking in a goalkeeper that's never played in front of an Old Trafford crowd before and has had a very good season at Sheffield United and is very talented is ready to dislodge a United great. I mean, how do you not be a United great when you've been at the club for a decade? You've actually won a Premier League title. You've captained the club. You've won Player of the Year more times than most people ever had. And yet at 30 it's time to sell him. I just think that the treatment of David De Gea by some of our fans, the media and people within our football club is nothing short of a joke. It's really poor behaviour. But we it's been allowed to manifest itself because of the media drive, which I think was basically about getting Dean Henderson in goal for the Euros. I think that's why Sky, that's why BBC, that's why BT, that's why Manchester Evening News. I think they wanted Dean Henderson in goal because nobody really rated Pickford, and it never worked. But it drove a massive wedge through our fan base and has basically made people team De Gea or Dean Henderson, and that's nothing to do with us. That's nothing to do with the fans. It's been generated, and ultimately Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to solve that problem because we cannot go into another season with this issue. But it looks like he wants Dean Henderson as his goalkeeper, but David De Gea is probably saying, "Fuck you, I'm not leaving. Why should I leave?" And then it just becomes this massive problem where David De Gea is sat on the bench, which isn't great for Dean Henderson because the minute he makes a mistake he could start the season with 8 clean sheets. We go to Anfield, he makes a big mistake, we lose the game, and everyone's like, "Get De Gea in goal." So it's not a good situation whether you're team Dean Henderson, team De Gea, or team you don't give a shit. It's not a great situation having 2 goalkeepers like that because we saw it last year. Any little error, get De Gea in goal. Any little error, get Henderson in goal. It's really naive, and I think it feeds into a massive concern that I have, and I know a lot of other people have. You've got Bruno Fernandes coming out yesterday. Oh, it's great that Mata's got a great contract. What a brilliant professional he is. It's great that Lee Grant's got a new contract. What a great professional he is. And I'm sorry, look, Bruno Fernandes is my favourite player. But I'm not listening to Bruno Fernandes saying what great professionals they are because that's just basically trying to change the fans' opinion on what is clearly a very naive decision by the football club. Because whatever Bruno Fernandes thinks, Pep Guardiola would have binned them both off and a lot more. And I'm sorry, Bruno Fernandes, my favourite player at Manchester United. Pep Guardiola's got nothing to do with Manchester United, but who's winning the titles? Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola goes and gets one of the most iconic players of Manchester City's history, who's still got plenty left in the tank, and bins him off. Like, they don't mess around, and that's how you win. You be ruthless. And people will say, well, maybe Ollie's trying to bin De Gea off and be ruthless. And I'm like, hold on a minute, okay, maybe that's what he's trying to do. But it's completely hypocritical because David De Gea is actually in his prime. We're not binning off a player that's past it. And how can he be like that when he's keeping Phil Jones, Andres Pereira, Jesse Lingard, Juan Mata, Nemanja Matic? And I'm not saying that a lot of those players aren't finished, but they're, for different reasons they should be being sold on, and we don't do it. So, why is Lee Grant staying at the club when we've got Tom Heaton and David De Gea and Dean Henderson? Why is he staying at the club? Because he's going to do a bit of coaching. Why is he going to be a coach? Why is an ex-Stoke reserve goalkeeper going to be Manchester United's goalkeeping coach? We're Manchester United. De Gea is on ridiculous wages for a keeper, not Solskjaer's fault, just another board fail, smash the wage structure and a mill around the neck, says Sam Brox. Well, Ollie was here at the time that contract was handed out. But no, I don't really want to get into the Henderson De Gea thing. I sort of thought about this morning, and I don't want to get into it because I do actually think Ollie's going to go with Henderson. And I do think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. And I think that, you've got to hope that that's going to be the right decision. But for me, Dean Henderson would not be our first choice goalkeeper. David De Gea would be. I think Henderson's the easiest one to sell. But I think this just goes back to we've got a really good team. We've got a really good team at United and we're building a really good team. But what I do want to say is that we have got... there is evidence in that football club that we are weak at removing Deadwood, and this goes back before Ollie as well. We know this. We've been mentioning Deadwood for a very long time, and there seems to be a weakness to make tough decisions. Like, look, Lingard needs to go. He's going to come back from training. He's going to be really good, and Ollie's going to go, Lingy, I'm giving you another chance. Delo might come back. Deloe, I'm giving you another chance. Pereira might come back and do well in training. Andreas, I'm giving you another chance. And it's like, where is the ruthlessness that you must have at a top level club? If it's all ring a roses and everyone gets on and, what a great manager is, he's brilliantly nice to everybody, then I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. You've got to have a ruthless edge. And look, people keep asking me about Mata. I've spoken about Mata twice now. I love Juan Mata. I think he's a fantastic guy. I think he's a fantastic player. But if I'm being absolutely honest, I don't think he's good enough anymore. And I haven't thought he was good enough for a very long time. And at the end of the day, if we want to pay 140 grand a week or 100 grand a week for somebody who's good in the dressing room, then I would have done it for 10 grand a week. I'd do it for a tenner. Just walk into the dressing room and start shouting and telling everyone about what it's all about. I don't get what that's all about. I really don't. And ultimately, the hardest thing for me about Mata is that I know that we've got Elanga, we've got Shoretire, we've got Hannibal, we've got Ahmad. They're all really exciting attacking players who can play anywhere across the front three. Number 10, right wing, left wing. 4 of them. And Mata is basically stopping them getting near the first team. And Dan James is stopping them getting on the bench. We've got Mata and James, who are basically going to stop Amad Diallo, Anthony Elanga, Hannibal and Shoretire getting on the bench. And I think that that's not what United's meant to be about. I thought Manchester United were about giving youth a chance, not sending youth on loan so we can keep has-beens on the bench. I don't think there's a big difference between Dave and Dean, but if we're sentimental towards Mata, we should be to Dave. He's been here years, says Joshua Bowater. Yeah, well, exactly. There's a hypocrisy there. You give Mata a contract when he's finished, but you're going to kick De Gea out when he's not for somebody new. There's a hypocrisy there. But look, we're not in charge. These decisions are decisions that we hope won't matter. Pardon the pun. Look, maybe Mata will start the season, first 10 games of the season, he'll win Player of the Year, he'll get loads of assists and loads of goals, and we'll be going, oh, we're wrong. Hopefully that is the case. So, we'll just have to see how it happens. I mean, look, I think ultimately as fans, we've all got an opinion. Look, England are playing today. I was like, get Southgate out, he's a load of rubbish. He beats Germany and you're like, yeah, probably give him a new contract. That was a pretty impressive win. So nobody's ever right at football all the time. We might be completely wrong. Juan Mata might be Player of the Year next year. I hope he is. You know what? McFred might win us the title. I hope they do. You want to be wrong. You want to be wrong, but there's a big part of you thinking, yeah, I'm not going to be wrong. I'm going to be right. Just the way it is. But we can't be wrong. We can't be right about everything. And at some point, I think, look, as I keep saying, I think next season is a massive season, and I think, Jadon Sancho, hopefully he does start for England later on. What a signing he is, and hopefully we get Varane in, and hopefully we keep Paul Pogba, and that you move on from that. You move on from that, and you build from that. But look, the big thing for me, and it doesn't get mentioned enough, is that you can buy the best players in the world if you want to, but what is the coaching going to improve? And that's from top to bottom. Ollie says he doesn't do the training. Apparently Mike Phelan doesn't do the training. So the eyes are very much on people like McKenna and Carrick. Are you going to improve our ability to break down a low block? Are you going to improve the tempo in which we move the ball? Are you going to improve our ability to defend set pieces and crosses? And if not, why not? And in some ways, that's way more important than spending £80 million on Sancho or £45 million on Varane or £60 million on a CDM. you can spend all the money on you like, but it's like pimping up your car, isn't it? You might have a Ferrari on your drive, you get new wheels, you put a new engine in, but if it's your grand driving the car, and nothing against grands, but most of them don't want to break the speed limit, then it doesn't matter. And a lot of people talk about United's coaching, and two of the things they focus in on are Ollie's lack of substitutions, his focus on using the same 13 players all season and burning them out. Fair points. When it comes to the actual coaching, how are we unable to deal with set pieces and crosses? Why are we not very good at breaking down a low block? But I actually think one of the big things about Man United as well that I find very frustrating when I watch teams like Switzerland and Spain and other teams that don't do this is this foot on the ball, slow tempo. When McTominay gets it, or Fred gets it, or even Bruno or Pogba. It's not even player specific. I think it's very easy to say, Fred and McTominay, they're such slow players. But you see Bruno doing it. You see Rashford doing it. You see Luke Shaw doing it. You see Pogba doing it. Players that can play at a high tempo, they get the ball, they take a touch, they have a look, they pass it sideways. Then Fred gets it, takes a touch, takes another touch, has a look, gives it to McTominay. McTominay goes that way, takes a touch, does his little spin on the ball, the pivot, goes back to go sideways. And everybody does it. Everybody does it. Well, that's a coaching thing. You watch Switzerland or Brighton, they get the ball, they pass it first time and they want it back. It's little layoffs, it's quick. And if you play that brand of football, you actually create more space. You've got to be more confident on the ball, but it's a confidence in your ability. Give me the ball, I can pass it you back one touch and move. Give me the ball, I can, first time I can switch the play. This is what teams like Brighton do. This is why they can pass their way out of trouble. United are very control it, have another look, slow tempo. We need to up that tempo, and that goes down to the coaching ground as well. Why are we moving the ball around so slowly? And this is what I mean. You can have Jadon Sancho, you can have Bruno Fernandes, you can have Paul Pogba, you can have Marcus Rashford, but if they're being told, look after the ball, when you get the ball, put your foot on it, have a look, and if there's not a good pass on, pass it back to McTominay, and you have a look, and then you go back to Maguire if you need, and then you go to Shaw, Luke Shaw, you give it to Rashford, and if there's no space or you don't want to risk it, give it back to Fred. Just keep the ball. And I think that's something we could massively improve on as well. Maybe Mata is really important to the training session and is a model professional that the young players are looking up to. Agree it's not ideal though. Well, Gustav, I think that's a load of shite. That's my opinion. Welcome to the Members Club, Morn Jacobs. And if Ahmad is not good enough to be picked in the front of Mata, then why play him? Is it on the manager or the player? Says Bogdan. Heard Mata took a pay cut to stay. Rest of Deadwood need to go, and I'd be okay with that, but not if we keep the Pereira, Jones, Matic, etc. as well, says Danny Coy. Look, mate, when Mata's on about 140k a week, how much of a pay cut do you think he's taken? Do you think he's gone down to 40 grand a week? Do you think he's on 100k a week? I bet he's still on 100k a week. 100k a week for somebody who started 6 games last season, who is a model professional at training. I would say to Manchester United, if you're having to pay somebody 100 grand a week because they're a model professional at training, maybe look at your first team squad. Why are we having to pay somebody who's a model professional at training but isn't good enough to get in the first team? Like, maybe we get better coaches. Maybe we get players who are model professionals who play for the first team. To me, I find it really odd that we're paying 100 grand a week to a player who's a model professional at training. Like, is the coaching not sufficient? Is the players that we've got not sufficient? I'm not taking anything away from Mata. I mean, I hear this a lot. Mata is a massive model professional at training, but he's not a first team player and he's not a coach. Is he not identifying two extreme problems here? That we haven't got model professionals in training who play for the first team, and we haven't got coaches who are model professionals either. We're having to keep Mata at the club who's not good enough for the first team because he's good at training. It exposes a real weakness in the team. I've never heard anything like that before. I haven't heard it at Liverpool or Manchester City that they're paying somebody 100 grand a week who never plays because they're a model professional on the training pitch. So basically, Mata's at the club because he's one of the best coaches we've got. Is that it? Or we're keeping him at the club because he's one of the best motivators we've got? Well, give him the fucking manager's job then. Just sack Ollie and give Mata the manager's job, because if he's so good on the coaching ground and he's such a good motivator but he's not good enough to start, just give him the manager's job. You know what I mean? It's like, seems a little bit weird to me, but some people are very happy with it. Lee Bishop, can't they just not put Matic and Mata on the bench and put the youngsters on the bench? They're too expensive. I mean, Mata's another one. Lingard's another one. Dan James is another one. I mean, you look at the bench next season, I can already feel the bench. Be Henderson or De Gea in goal, probably De Gea. So De Gea will be on the bench. Eric Bailly will be on the bench. Lindelof will be on the bench. McTominay or Fred will be on the bench. Mata will be on the bench. Dan James will be on the bench. And one of the strikers will be on the bench. That still leaves people like Lingard. And, loads of... There's not a chance that Ahmad, Hannibal, or any other young player is even going to get on the bench next season because it's blocked off to them. Matic is another one. I've just mentioned, I've forgotten Matic. So we're going to have people like Matic, James, Mata, who might not even get on the bench. We're going to be paying people $100,000 a week not to even be on our bench. So there's so much deadwood in that football club. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Donny van der Beek. Yeah, I've not even put him on the bench. I can think of like 3 or 4 players on more than $80,000 a week who won't even be on our bench next season. So again, we're going to be paying well over a quarter, nearly £500,000 a week in wages to players that aren't even on the bench. That's too much deadwood, and yet we don't think we'll challenge for a title. Teles as well. We've got so much deadwood in that club. It's a show in itself, isn't it? Let's go through it. De Gea. So, no, right. Just pretend De Gea is our goalkeeper. De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, new centre-back, Luke Shaw, Pogba, Fred, Rashford, Sancho, Cavani, Bruno. You go to the bench. I might need your help here. Henderson, Lindelof, Bailly, Teles, McTominay, Matic, Mata, James, Van der Beek, Lingard, Greenwood. I've just picked another 11 players, and there's more. There will be more. 11 players. I've just picked 22 players, and I'm not even getting to the youth. Fucking hell. 22 players we've got that are experienced, expensive players, and I've not mentioned a young player. Martial, 23. 23 players. 23 senior players, and I've not mentioned Ahmad yet, and I've not mentioned Hannibal yet, and I've not mentioned yet 23 players we've got who are... No wonder we're not getting a midfielder. I wish I'd done this in May. We've got 23 players, and there's probably somebody else as well. I'm not saying Martial's deadwood. I'm saying he's a senior pro. We've got 23 senior pros at that football club. That means you pick 11 and 5 or 6 are not even on the bench. And you think Diallo's getting on the bench. Got no chance. And this is what I mean. This is what I mean when I'm talking about why have we kept Juan Mata? Why would you keep Lingard? Why are we keeping Dan James? Why are we keeping Matic? Because we've got 23 senior pros on around $100,000 a week or more. And that's not even... I've not even mentioned any young players. So how's Ahmad getting on the bench? How's any young player getting on the bench at United when we've got 23 players on $100,000 a week classed as senior pros at the football club? Tom Heaton's another one, 24. Brandon Williams will go on loan. Twansebi will leave. Pereira will go on loan. So, I'm not going to include those. Delo as well. But, mate, just don't tell me that we should be giving out contracts to people like Juan Mata and Jesse Lingard and Andres Pereira and Nemanja Matic, when we've got 23 senior pros. 23 senior pros at this football club, and we're nowhere near winning a title. I mean, this tells you what the problem is. You can go and buy Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane. 23 senior pros. Fucking hell, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's no route to the first team if you're a young, good player at the moment. You've got no chance of getting anywhere near this first team as a young player at this club whilst you've got that amount of deadwood in the football club. Absolutely crazy. Really is. But Mata with 100k as a model coach. Backup goalkeeper is Stokes to coach Dean and David De Gea. Ollie and Mike, man management. If we don't get good coaches, this will be the last year of Ollie, says Ahmet. Well, maybe we'll buy ourselves out of trouble, maybe we will buy ourselves out of trouble. Fantastic show though, everybody. Really, really enjoyed it. And remember, we will have another 10 o'clock show tonight, but we have got massive games tonight. Czech Republic, Denmark at 4:30 on That's Football, and then 8 o'clock That's Football, England's game. So you can join me on there for that. Links in the video description if you want to get yourself one of these bad boys. They've just come out today. New t-shirt. Links in the video description, and we do ship worldwide. Thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the video. And obviously, hopefully, it's coming home. It's coming home. Football's coming home. Well, some of you might disagree with that. This is a United channel. But at the end of the day, 3 lines on the shirt. Jadon Sancho, hopefully going to start for England. Can't wait for that. Make sure you tune in on That's Football for the watch-alongs later. We could be watching Jadon Sancho in an England shirt. Bring it home. Thanks for watching. Speak to you in a bit.